Barbara Hale. You won't believe what happened next. A single note, tucked away among old letters and scripts, turned a beloved Hollywood story on its head. It wasn't a scandal or a tell-all, it was something braver. It was a quiet confession from Barbara Hale herself, a woman the world thought it already knew. And once you hear it, you'll never see her legendary partnership with Raymond Burr the same way again. Born on the 18th of April 1922 in DeKalb, Illinois, Barbara Hale grew up in the grit and grind of the Great Depression. More chores than chatter, more devotion than drama. She planned to be an artist, even studied at the Chicago Academy of Fine Arts, but the camera had other ideas. That calm poise, the soft authority, the intelligence in her eyes, Hollywood noticed. Early gigs at RKO led to a steady climb. Small parts at first, then meteor roles where she toggled effortlessly between light romance and serious drama. Films like Higher and Higher, 1943, The Boy with Green Hair, 1948, Jolson Sings Again, 1949, and Lorna Doone, 1951, showed a performer who never needed to shout to be heard. Directors trusted her, co-stars respected her, audiences felt like they knew her. But the role that made Barbara Hale immortal arrived in 1957 when she stepped into the quiet power of Della Street, the unflappable legal right hand to Raymond Burr's Perry Mason. Think about TV back then. Women were usually squeezed into the margins, the apron, the punchline. Della Street wasn't having it. She was sharp, decisive, indispensable, the kind of woman who made the machine run and did it with grace. The chemistry between Barbara Hale and Raymond Burr wasn't just good, it was era-defining. No forced sweetness, no winks at the camera, just two pros who trusted each other on every beat. The result? An Emmy for Barbara in 1959 and a character that never left the culture. Even after the original series ended in 1966, she returned for more than 30 TV films between 1985 and 1995. The steady heartbeat of a saga that spanned decades. Off-screen, Barbara Hale kept her life refreshingly ordinary for someone so famous. No chaos, no tabloid circus, just a deep sense of what mattered. On the 1945 western west of the Pecos, based on Zane Grey's novel, she met a quietly charismatic young actor named Bill Williams, born Herman Catt. Dusty locations, long days, easy laughter that kind of set is either a pressure cooker or a greenhouse. For Barbara and Bill, it was the latter. They married on the 22nd of June, 1946, not in a splashy spectacle but in a ceremony that felt like them. Thoughtful, heartfelt, grounded, they built a home rather than a headline and raised 3 children, daughters Jody Catt and Juanita Catt, and a son, William Catt, who would one day star in The Greatest American Hero and later share the screen with his mother in the Perry Mason TV movies. When work asked too much, Barbara sometimes said no. She could play 100 roles, but the ones that mattered most called her Mom and Mom only. And that brings us to the note. For years, people whispered about the bond between Barbara Hale and Raymond Burr. Was it friendship? Was it more? The truth, at least as Barbara told it in her own hand, was richer than gossip. "Raymond was my rock," she wrote. "He gave me strength when I doubted myself." She didn't dress it up or dress it down. She simply told it straight. Behind the courtroom fireworks was a companionship built on trust, humor, and a rare kind of loyalty. She saw past the commanding voice and the myth of Raymond Burr to the man kind, generous, sometimes lonely, and she stayed by him, especially when illness began to close in. When Burr died in 1993, she kept going professionally, but something in her fell quiet. The cameras still rolled. The friendship, in its earthly form, did not. Why does that matter? Because it redefines a story we often oversimplify. Hollywood loves to label everything: romance or scandal, friend or flame, truth or tease. Barbara Hale pushed back on all that. In her note, she writes of a love built without possession, a devotion that didn't need a label, of the kind of loyalty that doesn't fade. That's not a headline, that's a life. And it explains why her son, William Catt, would later speak of Raymond Burr like a family, an ever-present, generous figure woven into their days. The bond wasn't rumor, it was a quiet reality, lived out in small moments between long takes, travel days, and tough seasons. Now, step back and look at the whole picture. On screen, Della Street stands beside Perry Mason, calm, precise, fearless. Off-screen, Barbara Hale stood by Raymond Burr with the same unflinching poise. She worked when it mattered, rested when it mattered more, and kept her values unsmudged in an industry that smudges everything. Even her greatest achievements feel like byproducts of something deeper: integrity, steadiness, and a refusal to chase fame at the cost of self. In her later years, Barbara returned again and again to the role fans loved most, not because she needed to prove anything, but because the work still fit like a well-tailored suit. Those reunion films didn't coast on nostalgia. They worked because Barbara and Raymond still sparked. And when the day finally came, the 26th of January, 2017, she left us at 94, remembered not just for a character, but for a character. The difference matters. Tributes poured in from colleagues and fans who kept using the same words: gracious, generous, professional, kind. That's the legacy you can't fake. So what exactly did that note change? It didn't expose a scandal, it revealed a standard. It showed us that the strongest relationships aren't always the loudest ones, and that the greatest love stories don't have to fit into neat boxes. Barbara Hale taught us that dignity can be dramatic, that loyalty can be epic, and that you can live a big life without making a big noise. And if she could speak to Raymond Burr again, she said it herself: "Thank you for every word, every laugh, and every moment we shared." That's not just a line, it's a finale. Simple and devastatingly human. If you grew up with Perry Mason, you already know this. Some voices never leave your head. Barbara Hale's is one of them. The cadence, the calm, the quiet strength. It's still there, reminding us that being indispensable isn't about taking the spotlight. It's about holding the line. Before you go, tell me this. What do you remember most about Della Street? The calm in the storm, the razor-sharp timing, or the way she made every scene feel grounded? Drop your favorite moment in the comments. If this story gave you a new way to see an old legend, hit like, share it with someone who loves classic TV, and subscribe for more untold Hollywood stories told the way they were lived with heart, with truth, and with respect.